Hello everyone, and today we're back into another top 5. Well, technically it's a top 7, because we are ranking all of the Loomian Legacy starters from worst to best. So yeah, let's just get right into this. So, at number 7 on the list, I think we all know who it is. It's gonna be Seer Knight. Now, I think it's obvious why Seer Knight is the worst one out of all of them. I mean, although I did try it in battle, and it did a little bit better than I expected it. I ran an offensive one. You could also run the Terrifying one. I think the Terrifying one is a little bit better. But, yeah, Seer Knight just has massive flaws. Like, even though it has a lot of defense, it can still get wrecked. And look at this. This Terrafly has a lot of health, and it doesn't even take out the Terrafly, for crying out loud. I mean, Seer Knight just struggles a lot in the meta. There's a lot of fire types which are currently better than it. And it just doesn't have any other moves. It has a lot of moves, but it doesn't have any that makes it shine. I mean, Flaming Kick misses. Soaring Steel's good, but it's not enough. If this Loomian gets barbs, though, this Loomian will get shoved up, probably into the top 5. If this Loomian gets barbs, the defensive version will be better. So yeah. But right now, as he stands, Seer Knight is the worst starter in the entire game. So, I think that is well-deserved, honestly. So, yeah. Let's head into number 6. And number 6 is going to be, it's close to Seer Knight, but it's a little bit above. It's Tatub. And Tatub, Tatub's fine. Tatub hits hard. He has poison. He can stretch. And the reason why Tatub is higher than Seer Knight is because he hits a lot harder, is a lot faster, and can actually be a solid wall breaker. But, it has a lot of weaknesses. Like, it's quad weak to poison, it's weak to dark, it's weak to fire, and there's also a ton of other weaknesses too. Like, this thing is weak to so many stuff. As you can see here, Your Soul coming in, I poisoned a Your Soul, which is huge. This is the same battle, by the way. Completely comes through with blocking the Lumonomi Flash and Flee, which turns out to be very helpful. That immunity to light does save it defensively, but as you can see, look at that, Mega Chomp Lumonomi almost gets rid of the Tatub. Although, Tatub is going to clutch up here, because Tatub does hit pretty hard. It's going to deal a massive amount of damage to the Stratosaur. That's the thing, it needs a better plant type move in order to get higher onto the list. So yeah, Tatub is number 6, it's okay. But it needs a better plant type move and also a couple other stuff to get up higher onto the list. So, now let's get into the top 5 now, because these are the 5 Loomians, which all of them I would say you should use. And number 5 is Valkyrie. And there are a couple reasons why Valkyrie is below the next 2. But let's talk about Valkyrie. Valkyrie is one of the hardest range attackers in the game. Even as a solid melee attack stat, you can use this as a melee attacker if you really want to. So you can see on this clip, I used it as a melee attacker and it completely one-shots this Fauci. So, this Loomian can be used as a melee attacker, although it really works well as either a hard-hitting range attacker or with Radiant Forecast to completely pivot out into other Loomians. It has Flash and Flee and Radiant Forecast. And as you can see here, this clip is interesting. Goes for the Radiant Forecast here on my Bar Blast. I do some damage, and watch what happens here. I'm going to click Water Bomb to predict, and he goes into his Your Soul. And I know what you're thinking. How does this help him? Well, I have one swap in. Vesperatu. If I swap in Vesperatu, I lose Vesperatu. Make it his Your Soul go wild. And that's what makes Valkyrie really good. It can make his teammates do better. I wouldn't swap it into a Vesperatu, though. So yeah. Don't swap it into a Vesperatu, but other than that, Valkyrie is a very good wall breaker, and it's not higher because it has a little bit too low melee. It doesn't have the best bulk in the low speed tier. So, yeah. Let's head into number 4 now, and number 4 is gonna be Heber. And I really wanted to put Heber into the top 3, but there are a couple of reasons why. There are a lot of melee tanks which are currently used in the meta, like Obsidragon, Tundraland, Ventation, Lumonomi. But Heber, he's a pretty solid melee tank himself, and with Awakening, can hit very hard, can place Icicle traps, has quick punch priority, and can also use Earthquake. And Ice Earth is probably one of the best offensive combos in the game. Like, whatever you can't hit with Earthquake, you can hit with Ice, and whatever you can't hit with Ice, you can hit with Earthquake. So, there is literally no counters to Heber, unless you have a melee resilience user. It just hits very hard, and that's what I like about Heber. Heber hits hard, is very bulky, has priority, can play Sicycle Traps, and it's just an absolutely amazing Loomian. There are a couple reasons why it's not in the top 3, though. It has no form of recovery. And also, with the current meta, melee tanks are right now really, really, really common in the game. So yeah, Heber, though, is still a really good Loomian that I see on a lot of teams. So, into number 3, we're going to have Zulong. Zulong in the top 3? What are you thinking, Josh? Well, there's a lot of reasons. First of all, this is the second fastest Loomian in the entire game. I mean, Thunder coverage with Ancient is just so good. It hits pretty hard. Brute Force and Elemental Burst. And Ancient Roar is so underrated. Since Zulong is so fast, it can Ancient Roar out of a bad matchup, and you can go into something rather bulky and take the hit very well. Or, it could be very good in the late game. This next clip I'm going to show you is it in the late game. When Loomians are chipped, since Zulong has very fast speed, it can completely come through in the late game. As you can see, I took out that Valkyrie. It's going to take out this Oxydrake here because he's poisoned. It's even going to take out this Mutagon that's going to come in a second. But, yeah, that's what makes Zulong so good, and it's one of the most threatening Loomians in the game. Even though there are range tanks that exist to counter Zulong, it is still really good because you can just Ancient Roar out, weaken that tank, go into something else that counters it. So, it's a really good Loomian regardless. A really good lead, and an awesome late game cleaner. As you can see, it just got 3 KOs here in the late game. The reason why it's not higher is because it is very frail. It can't tank that many hits. But other than that, Zulong is really, really awesome. And to number 2, and I did not know who number 2 or number 1 was going to be, but I decided to go Vesperatu at number 2. Now, Vesperatu, he has Slapdown, he has Shadow Spray, he has a healing move, he has Phantom Slash, and he has an ability to increase its attack. Sorry, I can't speak. I'm getting tongue-tired there. But Vesperatu, it can get rid of items with Slapdown. That is amazing. Not only it can get rid of items with Slapdown, it can have Phantom Slash to cause more crits. You have Shadow Sprint, which is by probably the best priority user out of all the starters. I mean, as you can see, it comes through your late, gets rid of this Oxydrake, and then it's going to Shadow Sprint the Hunter that comes in. Like, as you can see, this Hunter outspeeds me, but I get some free chip onto this Hunter. Like, priority is one of the most important things to have in the game. Or, if you don't want to use a melee one, use a range Vesperatu. Range Vesperatu is honestly just as effective. As you can see here, this Wintrix is getting absolutely knocked down from this range Vesperatu. You're just thinking, oh, I'm going to peace of mind and I'm going to beat this. No, you're not. You're not going to beat this Vesperatu. It can be used as a range, it can be used as a melee, but don't have it go up against any Eclipses. Other than that, though, Vesperatu is awesome and can absolutely destroy. And that's why Vesperatu is in the number 2 spot. So, number 1, the best starter is Lumonomi. And I don't think there are any questions. I mean, Power Napper. Probably one of the best secret abilities in the game. With Flash and Flee, makes Lumonomi one of the best pivot users in the game. Has amazing bulk, and he's just a really good Loomian to use overall. I have so many examples. I could literally make an entire video of clips of pivoting out into a great situation. This Cosmere sets up, nah, I swap out. Comes back at higher health against this Lumonomi, and this Lumonomi can freaking do some damage. Look at that. Does some nice chip to the Chartiki. Has Maroon to get rid of energy. And Power Napper really keeps it alive. Like, you don't even have... Like, you could just click Flash and Flee, soak the hits, and then get health back and use it later. That's what makes Lumonomi so precious. Plus, you can get into a tolerable matchup where that Loomian doesn't even get hit. Like, look at this. Look at how much his Garlash does. Garlash does almost nothing. It is not a Power Jaw. That is a Terrifying, but still. The Garlash can't even do that much. It's a super effective move. Gets rid of it, and then I go right into my Cephalops, and nothing wants to come into it. Lumonomi is the best starter in the game by far. And I think these are the reasons why. Look at the Subsidiagon here. He does go for a Gamma Pulse, so he does get a Sleep Off, but it does not matter. Lumonomi counters Subsidiagon, so it makes no difference. Lumonomi, the best pivot Loomian in the game, and also the best starter in the entire game. And that's why it is in the #1 slot. There we go. Quick Splash and Fleet. I go into the... Of course I got to use Geklo. So now my Geklo defeats Obsidian. So, yeah. Here he is. Lumonomi. The best starter in the entire game. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me ranking all the starters. I personally enjoy making these. And more of these are definitely going to come out in the future. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Because I'm having a lot of fun with this. That'll be the video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!